Sometimes you wanna go where everybody knows your name, and they're always glad you came.
Alrighty, gentlemen, welcome to the second half of the season's Almost 13 Colonies Fantasy Football Podcast. We are sitting on, what is this, week 8? Going into week 8?
Going into week 8.
That's crazy. Almost halfway through the season, boys. So this is really where the home stretch starts. And so we're going to kind of start by wrapping up last week's action. It was a big week. Big week for myself. Big week for Mitch, I know. We saw everybody lose that we wanted to lose, except for Creighton, maybe.
Yeah, except for Creighton and for you, except for me. But, we were playing each other.
So. I would have, yeah, exactly.
That's
At least
tough.
we got a little cushion there. So, yeah, to recap last week, the first matchup was you against me, Mitch. And honestly, I picked up as many bums off the street that I could, threw them into my fantasy lineup, and it almost worked.
Yeah, I was kind of scared, to be honest with you, and I was up a lot of points, and then all of a sudden I only won by 2. So I don't really know what happened, but, a win's a win, and we take that, and we go into week 8, 5-2. We're happy with that.
Yes, spot. We are. Especially when, usually 7-8 wins get you in the playoffs. That's a good spot to be in.
Yep, absolutely.
Yep. Okay, so our next matchup last week was Pat versus Zach.
Pat.
Yeah, and on to the next matchup.
You lost?
Yes.
To somebody who was 1-5. How do you feel about it?
I don't feel great about it. It was a tough scene for everyone involved. But also at the same time, I didn't have Cooper Kupp. Week before that, didn't have Nick Chubb. Hard to win your games without your 2 best players on your roster. But I think I'm not pressing the panic button. I think my team is going to be just fine. We're going to come back. We're facing John this week. We're going to get a good win with the Chubb and Cup back, and we're solid. We're going to be solid.
Chubbs and Cups, huh?
Chubb and Cups.
What was the team name that you lost to? What was their name? I was just curious.
Losing this year.
I'm losing this year. Okay. All right. You lost to them?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. Right. But technically, I'm still worse than Rutgers, so it kind of fits the bill.
Technically, your team should have been, I'm losing this week.
Correct.
Yes, that would have been funny. Yeah.
You're still chasing that elusive, not worse than Rutgers team name.
I'm just 1 win away.
Yeah.
One win away.
We'll see how that goes for you.
1 win away, you'll beat Rutgers.
Yeah.
Yes.
And you need 1 more to be better than Rutgers.
Exactly. Next matchup was Apollo Creed Creighton taking on the King. It was a pretty easy win for Creighton. I'm not really sure what happened to John's team in this one. The crazy thing to me, I know Creighton had some good players on bye weeks, but really he hasn't been scoring too high numbers every week, and somehow he's still 4-3 here.
That scares me, I'll be honest.
I know.
If you look at his roster and you see he's scoring 120 and you see his distribution, how he got there, that's terrifying. He could score 180 easily. It's scary.
Yeah. So I feel like these are the weeks where, with him obviously being the perennial winner in the league, these are the weeks where the rest of the league mates, John, need to take advantage. He puts up 120, bro, you got to beat that.
Yeah. You got to take your advantage when you can get it, and his team did not capitalize.
Exactly. So like Giz said, he could easily score 160 each week. But yeah, so when he does score 119, John, you got to win it. Next matchup was Alexander, who's maybe one of the shockers in our league, taking on Kittle Corn, Steve. And Alexander came out and win. And I hate when Alexander wins. I know he said truce, but that truce is slowly dissolving as he refuses to respond in the group text. And that's why I hate seeing him win. If he would say, hey guys, just once a week, I'd be a happy camper. But instead, this ghost of leagues past comes in, wins games, and we don't even know where he's at or what he's doing.
Yeah, I'd love to hear from Alexander.
I would too.
5-2 team.
Hey, is he alive or is his team controlled by his brother or something?
Yeah, I don't know. Pat, any info on that?
Sources say that he is stuck in Arizona. preferably with somebody that loves ooh, how should I say this? Hmm, loves the Lions a little too much. So yeah, so that could be a problem. Maybe he just needs to come back to reality a little bit, and then maybe he'll start talking more and getting engaged more. Maybe what he needs is just a really bad loss. If we can give Alexander one really bad loss, I think we can get him on the pod.
I like it.
I don't know who's gonna do it. Probably me, but we'll make sure something happens.
Okay. So Alexander, congratulations on the win. I hate to see you win right now. Don't make me hate to see you win in the future. Next one was Corn Kid getting his second win. This was a
Finally
week of
got the
upsets,
juice.
folks. This was a week of upsets. Somehow pulling off the win against Brecken and his Monstars team.
This is kind of the opposite situation at Creighton. He
Yeah.
seems to lose all the close ones that he needs to sneak out wins.
Yeah, so Brecken right now seems to be what Creighton should have been this week, right? Where his team massively underperformed. The rest of the league needs to take advantage. And he took advantage. That's something that John didn't capitalize on. So kudos to you, Andy. The corn had the juice. Last one was Zeke and Destroy and Hertz Donut. Clay's kind of interesting. He's got a roster full of guys who you wouldn't have expected to do really well. Josh Jacobs, who is just a man among boys out there for some reason this year. I mean, this was a running back who was playing the freaking Hall of Fame game. Like, I don't think any of us saw this coming from Josh Jacobs, but he's doing the job for Clay right now, and it's good to see. So Clay is firmly in control of that division.
Yeah, I said it before the season started, and I'll say it again. I really liked Clay's team. That being said, obviously there were some players on his team that he did not have, that were not producing at the level of which we all thought they would be. So I thought Clay made some pretty good trades in the last couple weeks, and now he's like a legitimate 5-2 team now. And I still think he has a really good shot at winning his division.
Yeah, I agree.
Yep.
So let's take a peek at the standings after going over last week's action, see where that puts us. So in Division Mitch, the standings are Mitch, you and I are tied for first place right now. Obviously, you have a tiebreaker on me after this game at 5-2 apiece. Pat at 4-3, and then Zach at 2-5. I would argue this is the strongest division in the league.
Yes, I would agree.
Minus Zach. But
Zach.
Yeah, but Zach made a really good trade.
Zach made a good trade that might save his season. So
Yeah,
we'll get into that
I
a little
wouldn't
bit
count
later.
him out yet.
He also got the win over Pat this week. He's going
Also
right.
true. Hey, I'm just trying to help out our division.
Okay. Add some balance. Yeah, so that's where Division Mitch is standing. Is this shaking out how you expected when you drafted your Division Mitch?
Yeah, that's about what I expected. I didn't think Pat would come out to as hot of a start. I thought he'd be a little lower down. I knew you would be fighting for first. And then, yeah, I think I'm a little worried about Pat, though, if we're going to be honest, if now's a good time to talk about it. Pat's been having a rough couple weeks here. I know he said he's missing Chubb, he's missing Cup, but I don't know, man. It's a little scary out there for Pat right now. 4-3, kind of sliding the wrong direction. Who do you got this week, Pat?
We got John.
John.
We got
Okay.
John.
Okay, maybe. I mean, I feel like Pat's in like a must-win situation this week. I feel like if Pat loses, hell might break loose in the chat. I think Pat's gonna hear it.
I think the floodgates are closed right now, Pat, but we'll see what happens.
As a famous Ted Lasso quote, there's two buttons I don't press: the panic button and the snooze button. And we ain't hitting that panic button yet.
Either
Pat,
one.
who are you dressed up as right now?
It's currently Ted Lasso.
Oh, perfect. Okay, I just want to
Yeah.
make sure for our audio listeners.
What team do you
For
go?
everyone out there, I should probably rename my thing as Ted Lasso. That'd be really funny.
That would be. So then Division Andy, right now, Clay actually has a pretty handsome lead at 5-2, followed by Pierce at 3-4, and Andy and Brecken are rounding out the bottom at 2-5. So Clay has a 2-game lead on the next closest league or division mate there. This one I think is definitely not shaking out the way we all expected. Again, we talked about Brecken just a little bit, some of the breaks he's had. And Clay's team may be overperforming. So Division Creighton is not winning Division Creighton. Alexander is. I'd love to hear Alexander's thoughts about it once again. So
I think we're just one really bad loss of Alexander away from him rebuttaling this.
We'll see. So, anyways, yeah, Alexander's sitting at 1 at 5-2. Creighton second division 4-3, and then you have Steve 3-4, and John at 2-5. So very similar distribution in that division. Everybody's one game behind each other. So yeah, overall we have 4 teams at 5-2. We have 2 teams at 4-3, and everybody else is below 500. And those teams are obviously favorites right now to make the playoffs. As far as highest scoring and lowest scoring teams, I'm 1, Alexander's 2, Brecken is 3. Lowest scoring teams are who is that at the bottom? Okay, Andy. Yep.
I was going to say it's probably Andy.
I clicked the wrong button. And it said you were, Pat, and I was going to be shocked. But no, it's Andy, Zach, and John.
Yeah.
So Andy is last, Zach is 11th, and John is 10th. So with that, we did a little social experiment this week. We collected everybody's power rankings.
Before we go into power rankings, just real quick, out of everyone in the standings, who are you most shocked is at their current position? I'll start.
Far?
Yeah.
Okay.
So I'll start. Steve being third shocks me. For as good as a draft he had, and for what his roster shows, being third in his division shocks me. He's had a lot of injuries, a lot of really bad luck. RIP Bryce Hall. It's just very shocking to me how we've gotten. And this is a very typical Steve situation too. But it's just really shocking to me that he's third in his division.
I mean, Pat, Brian Robinson did get shot. Like
that's a fact. That is a fact.
I mean, and also the other injury that hurts too. So
yeah,
yeah, yeah, tough go for Steve. I'll say mine has to be Brecken. You know, he's got a good team. He's had a good team all year. Took advantage of some, we'll say, prime trade opportunities. Put it mildly. Definitely came out on the winning end of those. So yeah, Brecken sitting at 2-5 kind of shocks me. Usually expect him to be up at the top, and we'll see how it goes. We'll get into this team a little bit more during the power rankings.
Yeah, my pick was also Brecken. So I'll zig and zag here a little bit, and I'm gonna go with Pat. Actually, I think your team is the most shocking. Only because at the beginning of the season it was so good, and then now it's been so bad that I'm shocked. So I think that in an up and down way, Pat, you were the most shocking.
Thank you. I appreciate that. And like I said earlier, we're not pressing the panic button. It's just 2 games that we're not ready for because our best players were out. We're going to be fine. Everything is going to be fine.
Okay, explain to me this.
In the famous words of Aaron Rodgers, relax.
So you can push. You don't need to push the panic button after 2 games, but you're going to push the celebrate around the world button after 4 games.
Absolutely. Absolutely, I will. Every time.
Oh, I love it. All righty. So power rankings. Yeah, I have everybody's list who submitted. Thanks to Clay, Pat, Mitch, Creighton, and Andy, and myself. We were I guess that'd be 6 of the league mates who care at all.
That's a good list.
Yeah, and submitted the power rankings. So there's some differences of opinion. There's some similar opinions. And yeah, I'll kind of highlight the ones, once I'll list them in order here, and we can discuss them. I'll go top 4, middle 4, bottom 4. We'll discuss
we are also going to display the power rankings here in the middle of the screen.
Yes.
So all of you all can follow along as he reads them off.
And we're talking averages here, like the average of the 6 of us, or what are we going to talk about first?
We're doing composite average right now.
Perfect. Okay.
And then I was going to plan on, after we go over those, we can kind of point out some major ranking differences. Like, Creighton had somebody a lot lower or higher than somebody else, or Pat did. And yeah. Yeah. So, and then we can compare those to ESPN projections as well.
Dude.
So we all know that those are so wonderful.
Very accurate.
Very accurate. Never wrong.
Quickly on that, they did have Clay 1 beginning of the season, and we were all like, what the heck? I mean, Clay looks pretty good. I don't know.
They knew Josh Jacobs was going to go off.
They knew it was contract year, Josh Jacobs. Get that
They
man
knew.
paid.
So, based on our consensus rankings, there is really a grouping of 3 at the top that aren't separated by very much. Creighton and Mitch, you guys are tied for number 1, so we'll go 1 and 2 with you guys. And then myself I'm number 3. So average ranking for you and Creighton was 2.5. My average ranking is 2.67. So everybody seems to agree that we're the top 3 teams. What do you guys think about that?
I would agree. My ranking was Creighton, myself, then you, Colin. So I think that's exactly how I had it. The only reason I didn't put myself above Creighton was because of the trades he's made this year. I think he's underperformed. I think his team's better. We'll see how it goes. Pat?
I think everybody is absolutely bananas if you think that Mitch and Creighton are the 2 best teams in this league. I think you're absolutely fucking bananas. There is no way in hell Creighton is number 2. Okay,
Hey,
and
who's
I
number
will
one?
I will die on that hill. Die on that hill.
Okay, so we'll jump into our first discrepancy then, okay?
Yes, let's go. Let's do
So
it.
the lowest ranker on Creighton was you, Pat.
Of fucking course
And you-
it was. Of course.
It was on a
I
break, but
I
damn.
expect nothing less from Creighton.
So you have Creighton at 6.
I
Explain
do
why.
have him at 6.
I need to know why.
Because this team's a little bitch. That's why. Are you freaking kidding me? You're telling me he has all this talent and he's only 4-3? No way. Ain't no way his team is better than Alexander's. Ain't no way his team is better than yours, Colin. If Mitch's team is hot, there's no way he's going to beat Mitch. No, absolutely not. He does not deserve to be number 2. He's going to have me at the lowest ranking possible because it's Creighton and he's out to fucking get me. Hell no. 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 He is number 6 in my opinion. He deserves to be in the playoffs. I will acknowledge the fact that his team is decent and he will be in the playoffs, but
That's why
that
you
does
put him
not make
6.
him in the top.
Okay, so
Pat,
go ahead.
just to be clear, Pat, Creighton's roster right now is Tom Brady, Christian McCaffrey, Deebo Samuel, Kyle Pitts, CeeDee Lamb, Dalvin Cook, Mixon, the Cowboys defense, and Elliott. And that's
Okay,
just to be clear, right?
okay, Giz. I'll take that. Most any other fantasy year, yeah, I'll take that bet. He's probably the best team out there. How will Tom Brady do against the Panthers, huh?
That's the scary part, Pat, is that Tom Brady's
How good's Deebo Samuel been this year? He's been nowhere. Kyle Pitts didn't even get his first freaking touchdown till like what, week 5, week 6? Fucking come at me. No, his team's a fraud. Capital F fraud.
just out of curiosity, what ranking is Deebo Samuel this year for wide receivers? Just out of curiosity, off the top of your head.
Oh, I could not tell you.
Just take a guess. Top
Take
10,
a guess.
top 20, top 30.
I'd say top 30.
He's number 8 in fantasy. He's number 8.
All right, cool. Bet. Does he want a fucking medal?
I love that.
No, I want to know specifically, Pat, what you don't like about Creighton's roster. Because
think
I'm
they're-
sitting here looking. He has the number 1 defense,
Correct.
the number 10 running back, the
Which
number
one's that?
14 running back, the number 7 running back. He has the number 8 wide receiver, and the number 12 wide receiver, and the number 11 quarterback.
Okay. And? And what's his record?
I'm just
4-3?
saying,
Yeah, that's what I thought.
With the way his team has underperformed this year,
Underperformed with a capital U. Go on.
thus far, realistically, he should be. Oh, can we pull up Creighton's schedule here? Let's settle this debate.
Mm-hmm.
Anybody have Creighton's schedule?
Oh, I can pull it up.
And Pat, just to be clear, you were also 4-3. Like, just to be
I am also 4-3
Okay,
with 2
just
bad
be clear.
weeks. That's okay. We've moved on from that.
Just to be clear.
Oh man, let's see here. Where's schedule?
I got it pulled up. Okay.
Creighton's schedule.
Yeah.
Because I'm losing this year, aka Zach. Pat, is that a W or an L for Creighton?
I'm assuming that was a W for Creighton.
W for Creighton. Okay, so that makes him 5-3. All right, then he plays Clay.
Wait, hold on. His next opponent is
Okay.
I'm losing?
Yeah.
Yeah, that'll be so 5-3.
Okay, 5-3. Then he plays Clay.
That's a loss.
Okay, so 5-4. Then he plays Pierce.
Ooh, that's a toss up.
Go ahead.
I'm gonna say loss.
Okay, 5-5. Then he plays you.
That is also a loss.
Okay, 5-6. And then he plays Steve.
That's a win.
6-6. Alexander.
That's a loss.
6-7. John.
That's a win. So 6-6.
7-7. That's
7-7. You're right.
That was great podcasting right there. That was really
Thank
good.
you.
Okay, so Pat thinks Creighton is going 7-7.
Absolutely. I
Yeah,
do.
okay.
He thinks Creighton
Mitch-
is 3-4.
Mitch, will you pick those games for me?
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay, so Creighton against Zach.
Win.
Okay. Creighton against Clay.
Oh, that's tough. Let me check his buys. Oh, that's a loss because he has McCaffrey on buy, Samuel on
Debo
buy,
on buy.
on buy, Dallas on buy.
Thank you.
Okay. Who's next?
Then you have Creighton versus Pierce,
Win.
week 10,
Yeah, week 10 win. So he's 6-4.
6-4.
Okay.
Yep. And then week 11 is Creighton against Pat.
Creighton by 100. I don't think it's close.
And then
Fuck
week
off.
12 week 12, Creighton against Steve.
I think this one's closer because of Josh Allen, but
Yeah.
it's going to play Creighton.
I think Creighton gets him a second time too.
Yeah.
And then week 13 is Creighton against Alexander.
Alexander's got a good team, but I think that it's overperforming right now.
Mm-hmm.
I guess I have to pick Creighton. But I have to pick Creighton, but I don't like it. So
Yeah.
it's Creighton.
Creighton
But
and
you'd
Tulsa.
like it if you picked Alexander. So maybe
Creighton
you should pick
against-
Alexander.
To round out the year, Creighton against John.
Okay, and John. Yeah, it's not, I mean Creighton. Yeah, I think Creighton was
1, 2, 3, 4. How many times did you pick him? 5.
I think 5 out of 7.
No. Yeah, 5 wins. So he has 5 more wins in him. Which
Maybe
puts him at 9.
maybe 6, yeah.
Yeah. So
There's
yeah.
no way he has 5 more wins in him. You
I
all
think we've
are
hashed out
bananas.
the Creighton debate quite a lot here. So,
You all are crazy if you
Yeah,
think he has 5 wins left in him.
So if Creighton gets to 9 wins, what are you gonna do?
I don't know.
What are you gonna do?
I've seen how these bets go before, and I love it.
Well, one, I don't know if I'm gonna make a bet because I am severely drunk right now.
If Creighton gets to 9 wins, will you name your child Creighton?
Absolutely not.
Will you name your child's middle name Blue Jays for Creighton Blue Jays?
I will wear on draft day a Creighton Blue Jay scarf.
Okay.
He gets 9 wins.
I can do that.
On
You
draft
buy a Creighton Blue Jays
on draft day next year,
In
I will
honor of
wear
Creighton.
a scarf in honor of Creighton. If he
Okay,
gets 9
Cheers
wins.
it. Cheers it, boys.
But he has to get 9 wins though. He
All right,
has
all
to
right.
get 9 wins.
Regular season, 9 wins.
Regular
do it.
season wins.
Let's do it. Run the table.
All right. Okay.
Also,
So
Giz, I am
anyways-
very upset that you have spotted cow.
Oh, dude, this is the goods.
I got
So
that
good.
downstairs.
We
No free ads.
no free advertisements, but good spotted cow.
Where's Spotted Cow?
So, yeah, that was the first group of 3. You know, Creighton, Mitch, and myself, fairly interchangeable. I think I'm going to speak on my team. I think that my team has a lot of potential. Saquon's breaking out, AJ Brown, but I've been hit by a lot of injuries this year. A lot of starting players going down, unfortunately.
Yeah, but you've also been very good on the pickups lately.
Yeah, I've had some good bench depth for
Yeah.
sure. But I just don't know because each time that injury happens, you drop off a little bit, right? The guy you pick up isn't quite as good as the guy that you
Yeah.
had to start. So I worry about that, and especially with DeAndre Swift, I'm not sure how much longer we can wait to get those reinforcements to come back in. So we'll see, especially this week against Brecken. What's up?
What do you think of my team? I honestly
your team?
genuinely curious.
Okay, let me pull you up here. I think you have a solid team. I think you have.
I
some guys
don't.
that-
It's a solid team name. I'll tell you that.
The thing is about your team, Jonathan Taylor has severely underperformed this year.
Severely underperformed.
Yeah, I mean awfully. And I think that you really ride or die with Joe Burrow and Jamar Chase.
Sick.
Yeah, So if they have a connection like they did this week, you're fine. But if it's like a T Higgins or Joe slow ass Mixon trotting his way for 2 yards to a touchdown, that's about as far as he can run one play. So, but yeah, if it's that kind of an offense, then I think you're in trouble most weeks, especially because Miles Sanders is not the primary touchdown scorer on the ground in Philadelphia.
He's averaging 19 though. We take that.
Yeah, he's been good. Don't get me wrong, but another touchdown or two would boost him if Jalen Hurts wasn't vulturing. So I don't like your bench depth though.
Well, my bench depth? No,
I don't like it.
not me either. I think I have the most boomer bust team in the whole league.
I think you do too.
I would agree with that.
I think Burrow, Taylor, Chase, Taysom Hill, Miles Sanders, even Scary Terry, like literally all of them can go off. All of them.
Yep.
They could all score 5.
So I'd say 25% of the time, you're top 3-4 team in the league. I'd say 50% of the time, you're probably a middle 4 team in the league, and another 25% of the time, you're like a bottom 4 team.
It could be
So
bad.
It's very hard to predict.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We'll see how it goes.
So we'll see how it goes. Then, anyways, our next composite rank, number 4 and number 5, Clay and Alexander, and they're pretty close, 4.5 and a 4.67 composite score. Yeah, so Clay's at 4, Alexander's at 5, pretty close. Do you guys like where these guys are at?
I like where Clay is at. I do not like where Alexander is at. Personally, in my opinion, I think Alexander has probably the best team in the league, and I have him at number 1. That was in my power rankings, and I believe I had you at 2, Colin, in my power rankings.
Yes, yeah.
You have me, Pat.
So,
Where'd you have me?
I had you.
He had you at 3. No,
3.
5.
5.
Okay,
5.
that's respectable.
Yeah. So a couple discrepancies we have here with Clay and Alexander. You have Alexander at 1. Tell us why, Pat.
Like I said, I think he has one of the best teams in the league. I think his team gets very hot. I mean, you're not going to win every single week, right? That's why he's 5-2. But I think he has a very strong team. I think his team has a lot of chance to go off very fast, and for that reason, I think he's number 1.
Okay, fair enough. The other discrepancy we had was Creighton ranked Clay at number 8. Y'all agree with that? I disagree with it.
Clay at number 8?
Yeah.
Is he high on the Odessa football field right now? Because holy shitballs, Batman. Clay's number 1 in his division. He's 5-2.
Dude,
Put him
that's
at
what
number
I'm saying.
3.
You at the lowest, especially considering these are power rankings, which has to consider strength of roster and strength of record at this point.
Right.
Like combination, right?
Yeah.
I don't think there's any way that Clay. The only way Clay loses his division is if Brecken or Pierce just goes on a tear the rest of the year. So Clay is for sure in the playoffs, which means the lowest I think you can logically rank him is 6.
Agreed. Do I have Clay a little bit high at 3? Maybe. But I would not put him below 6 by any means necessary.
You can't. I don't think you can.
You can't.
Would you agree, Gizmo?
Yeah, I agree. I have Clay at 5. Clay
Mhm.
at 5, I think. Yeah, I put him at 5. Based on record, based on roster. My concern with Clay is Stevenson in his running back spot for the Patriots, because that could always switch with Harris. You never know.
Very boomer bust player.
Yeah, you don't know who's
Bad
gonna
offense.
come.
Bad offense.
Yeah, better with Zappy, and he looked good on Monday, but I don't know.
Yeah.
That's my only concern with him. But he's got a good roster overall. So,
Yeah.
I don't know.
I agree. Okay. So then moving on to 6 and 7. We'll group 6, 7, 8, 9 here because those are pretty close composite scores. Number 6 is Brecken with 6.33. Pierce is number 7 with 6.83. Number 8 is Steve with 7.17. And Pat, you are number 8 with 8.17 composite score.
No.
So again, Brecken is 6, Pierce 7, Steve 8, Pat is 9. Excuse me. Yeah. How do you feel about that, Pat?
Not great. A little upset about it. I'm gonna tell you why. How many 5-2 teams are there right now?
4.
There's 4, correct? And then there's 2 4-3 teams, right?
Correct.
And remind me, who is one of those 4-3 teams?
Creighton.
Creighton, sure. And who's the other one? It's me, right?
The guy who's
At
worse
4.
than Rutgers.
Right, the guy who's worse than Rutgers is 4-3, right? So no one else in the league is above me minus you two, the other 5-3 teams, and Creighton, right? Well, Creighton technically is tied with me, but so you're gonna put me, who's better than everyone else, at number 8,
9.
9, even worse, 9. That is bananas to me. No way I am that low. I have had 2 bad weeks, people. 2 bad weeks. Let's fucking pump the brakes on Pat being terrible at fantasy football, okay? We're
All right.
fine.
So I got a little trivia for you, Pat. And
Yeah, let's hit me.
rapid
Let's do
fire,
it.
okay?
Come on, bring it on. Come on.
Who do you think was the lowest ranker on you out of me, Clay, you, Mitch, Creighton, Andy?
I'm sure it was me.
You think you ranked yourself the lowest?
Oh, ranked myself the lowest.
Yeah, who ranked you the lowest?
Who ranked me well, probably Creighton ranked me the lowest.
Correct. What do you think he ranked you at?
Didn't he rank me at 8? No, he ranked me like 10, probably.
11.
Yeah, exactly. Because he's a little shit talker.
Okay. So who do you think, other than yourself, ranked you the highest?
Who other than myself ranked me the highest?
Yeah.
Who all submitted power rankings?
Between me, Clay, Mitch, and Andy.
Probably Andy.
False.
Okay.
Mitch.
Was it me?
It was you,
Wow.
Mitch.
Yeah.
You ranked Pat at
Hey.
7.
I put you at 7, Pat. I thought that was respectable.
Yeah.
I think that was
Well,
respectable.
I didn't respect it, but thank you.
Yeah.
That's a respectable place. I think you missed the playoffs.
So myself, Clay, and Andy all have you at 9, which is right where you ended up. Yeah, you had yourself at 4, so we'll see what happens.
Disrespect from my host. The
I
disrespect.
never said I didn't love you. I never said I didn't love you.
Oh my god, I think you're all
I'm just
bananas.
worried
I
about
have me
you,
at
okay?
4, by the way.
Reach out if you need help, okay? So the last 3 in our let me see if there's anything else interesting about this grouping. Actually, there is. Andy had Pierce ranked at number 3. Interestingly enough. Nobody else had Pierce higher than 6, which was Creighton. So yeah, that's kind of an interesting nugget. I think Pierce has a very good team. He's very boom or bust as well, though. I think Kenneth Walker, Rashad Penny going down, that was huge for him. Yeah, Eckler, if he keeps up his 30 receptions per game pace, that's going to really bode well for him. We'll see how he goes.
I think Pierce has a really good team. I have him at number 8 purely because of record. But I think if he wins this week, he could potentially be in the 6th spot.
Yeah, we could see that.
Yeah.
Then the other interesting fact here was Brecken. And another trivia for you. What do you think the highest ranking for Brecken was? And
I'm going to say 9.
Brecken is sitting at 2 and 5. Pat, what you think? 9?
I think I take that back. I'm going to give 8.
I'm going to say 4.
Number 4?
Someone said 4.
Yeah, it's like the best ranking.
Yeah, I think the best ranking he got was a 4.
Yeah. You're correct from Creighton.
I'll say probably Creighton. Yeah, that's all I thought.
Yeah. For sure, Creighton.
That's a bold ranking in my opinion. I all respect due to Brecken's team. They're fantastic. We'll see. I got a good matchup against him this week. But in order to achieve that, he has to climb out of a 2 and 5 hole, which means, if we're counting 8 as our magic number, and this is week 8, so we have 6 more weeks. 7 more weeks? Yeah, because 14 week. Yep. So we have 7 more weeks. Brecken's got to win 5 or 6 of the last.
He is in a absolute cannot lose situation.
Yeah, like every week. So this is like wild card playoff football here.
Yeah.
For Brecken. So yeah, that's interesting. Lowest was Pat. You ranked him at 9. Why did you have him at 9? for that
No,
reason?
yeah. So I ranked him at 9 because one, he does have a really good roster, but he is 2-5. I think
Right.
he's gotten I think he's had very unlucky matchups this year so far, which is why he has a 2-5 record.
Yeah.
And he has a hell of a hole to climb out of.
Right.
So that is exactly why I have him at 9.
That's fair. And then to round out the standings here, a lot of 10s, 11s, and 12s amongst this crew. Zach has the composite 9th best team in our power rankings. John is, or no, excuse me, 10th best team is Zach. 11 is John, and 12 is Andy.
I think that's fair. I think you have to have the bottom 3 power rankings that.
Yeah. I mean, I don't think there's a whole heck of a lot that differentiates these three, other than to me, Zach has made the moves that he had to at least hopefully avoid the Scrophy.
I think Andy's clear last place, to be honest. I think
Yeah,
it's
I agree. Hey, so do you guys kind of feel, and disagree with me if you want to, I feel like Zach had a pretty good team, and then he traded it away and gave himself to Scrophy for a little while, right? Because he was looking really good for it. And then he got himself out of the Scrophy with another trade.
Yes.
Yeah, his trade with Creighton was terrible. But I don't even talk.
He pressed the panic button way too quickly.
Way too early, yeah. I agree.
And yeah.
But then the one with Clay might redeem him a little bit.
Yeah,
I think it will, absolutely.
Yeah, and that was a good trade for both sides, I thought. So
Yep.
Yeah. Anywho, so to recap those, amongst our league mates, Creighton is the projected. Creighton and Mitch are tied, projected number 1 and 2. Myself at 3, Clay at 4, Alexander 5, Brecken 6, Pierce 7, Steve 8, Pat 9, Zach
Stupid.
10, John 11, and Andy 12. So I thought it'd be interesting to compare this to ESPN. The bottom 3 obviously line up with ESPN pretty darn well. Even ESPN has Pat projected to finish 8th, which is interesting.
Stupid.
So there's that. ESPN has me to finish first for some reason, 2 Clay, 3 Creighton, 4 Mitch. So really our top 4 are the same as ESPN, and roughly the middle 4 are the same as well. So it's interesting. They're in different orders, but they at least have those groupings.
We'll see.
Yeah,
We will see.
It's a long season. So we've come to the final part of our show where our guest, the one and only Mitch, Dr.
Hello.
Mitch, is going to pick the winners for this week.
Let's
You
do
ready
it.
for this? Have you researched this?
I have not, but I'm going to do it on the fly.
Okay.
It's going to be good. I'm excited for it.
It's a little more complicating when you have bye weeks here.
Who's the best picker so far?
Ooh, great question.
So far. I can get that for you. The best one so far was myself at 4 and 2.
Okay, that's pretty dang good. Pretty dang good. My goal is 4 and 2 or 5 and 1. So we'll see how this goes. Obviously 6 and 0 would be great, but we got to be realistic here. It's fantasy football.
So Pat, are you recording these by the way on the document? I can do it.
I can do it. Yeah.
Yeah, go ahead and type them in. So our first matchup is Scott's Tots 2 and 5 in a must-win game against myself 5 and 2. Notable buys in this matchup are on my side. Travis Kelce is on a buy, and I believe that's it, right?
This is brutal for Brecken here. This is brutal. It's a brutal matchup. Lucky that Colin has a bye here. Obviously, I'm rooting for Brecken here because it'd be nice for Colin to take an L here, so I could move up in first place a little higher. But also, it'd be nice if Brecken lost because then he maybe not make the playoffs. I'm cool with either one of you guys losing here. I'm going to take Brecken. I'll take Brecken. I think Daniel Jones and the Giants kind of take a little bit of a step back. They've been playing a little hot right now, so maybe step back a little bit. That hurts Colin's team a little bit, and Brecken wins by a couple points. It's close, but I'll take Brecken.
Okay. Next matchup is Corn Kid versus Patrick's Mustache. Notable buys here, really none. Both teams are at full strength here.
Yeah, I'm full strength. And I think this is a big week for me. I think I'm going to score if I have to predict this week, I think I'm going to be around like 140, 145. I think it's going to be a good week. I don't think Andy's team can do that. I think looking at Andy's team quickly, yeah, I don't think his team can do that. He's got the Kyler Murray, DeAndre Hopkins like little duo thing like I have with Jamar Chase. I like my duo better. Yeah, I'll take myself by 20. I think it's like 145 to 120. He's going to do okay, but I think he loses.
Okay. Next matchup is John at 2-5 versus Pat at 4-3. Notable buys here: Clyde Edwards-Helaire and Gerald Everett for Pat. Obviously, he's got a good replacement tight end. And for John, he has the Chargers on a bye, so Herbert and Keenan Allen, which Allen is injured anyways. But who do you got here?
I love this matchup. I actually have a quick question for Pat for this one. Pat, who are you starting at QB this week?
Who am I starting at QB?
Tagovailoa or Geno Smith? Who are you starting?
Probably. I don't know. I don't know yet.
If Pat starts Tua, I'll take Pat. If Pat doesn't start Tua, I'm taking John.
Are you going to charge him for this fantasy advice? Like send him an invoice after the show?
Yeah, basically. I mean, I think if Pat doesn't start Tua here, I don't know what he's doing. I think they're playing the Lions. I don't know what he's doing. But hey,
I mean, the only reason I didn't start Tua last week was because he's coming off a concussion protocol.
Yeah, I think
that was the only reason why I didn't start him.
Okay. I guess that's fair. I'm taking Pat this week. I hate to say it, but I assume he's going to start Tua here, so I'll take Pat.
That would be a nail in John's coffin and boost for Pat's Chubb.
Absolutely.
So, the next one up is our favorite villain, Apollo Creed versus I'm Losing This Year. Apollo Creed is projected to totally knock out Zach here. Yeah, no bye weeks really, other than the Chiefs, Butker and Schuster for Creighton and MVS for Zach. So who you got?
Yeah, I'm scared of Creighton this week. I would be scared if I was Zach. I'm really glad I'm not playing Creighton this week. We're gonna have Christian McCaffrey first full time with the 49ers. That's terrifying. All his running backs are in. The Cowboys defense is playing the Bears. The Bears. I'm as a Bears fan here. They just scored 33 points, which means they're going to score 3 points this week.
Yeah.
Michael Parsons is going to have 100 sacks. It's going to be terrible. So I will take Creighton by 100. I don't think it's close. I think he might get 200 this week, actually. I truly think Creighton gets 200 this week. I think this is his, like, holy crap, what do we do? Why do we make these trades week?
For the rest of the league.
Yeah, and even for Zach, who's playing against him, he's going to be like, why? Why did I do that? Like, what is wrong with me? I mean, I honestly think, like, Brady's going to figure it out a little bit, but McCaffrey's going to have, like, 30. Yeah. Debo might have 30. Like, it's going to be ridiculous. I'm scared.
Yeah, I could see that happening. I really could. Next matchup is Hurts Donut against Kittle Corn. This is kind of a get-right game for both teams, actually. Both are hovering on that bubble right now. One's going to separate himself to the playoff push. One of them is going to get back down, digging into the hole. Yeah, it should be a fun game to watch. But Pierce a little bit of disadvantage. J.K. Dobbins going on injured reserve, and Austin Eckler on a bye. Who you taking?
Yeah, this is an interesting one. This all depends on Philadelphia. They're playing Pittsburgh. He's got the Hurts-Smith connection here. And then Josh Allen's playing against Green Bay, who stinks. They're terrible. Pat, comment on Green Bay?
Yeah, they're freaking awful.
Yeah, they're not good.
They're not good.
Not good. And Josh Allen is good or bad, Pat?
Very good.
Yeah,
very good. Rocket arm.
Very good. Very good. So, man, this is tough again. I think I'm gonna go upset pick and pick Pierce. ESPN has Steve, but I'm gonna take Pierce. I think the Philly connection works. Maybe Hawkinson does something because they're down 100 points to Miami, so they have to throw the ball 1,000 times. I don't know. Let's go Pierce.
We really don't have any rooting interest in this game, do we?
I think I'd rather Steve would lose, actually.
Yeah.
Because I don't want Josh Allen in the playoffs. That scares me.
That's fair.
Yeah, I don't want to see him in like the fantasy football playoffs.
Like that.
Unless they're resting him at that point. That'd be nice. But
that's true.
Maybe.
So the last matchup and game of the week this week.
Definitely.
Deservedly so. 5-2 Clay versus 5-2 Alexander. There should be a rule against no game of the weeks if you don't at least say hi in the group chat.
I
That's,
can't.
that's all I want. Just a smiley face or something.
Should be like a warning for him,
Wink one time if you're alive, right?
please.
Yeah. So Clay versus Alexander. We're all gonna pick this game. The really huge critical buy this week is Patrick Mahomes and the Chiefs. That's gonna hit Alexander fairly hard. So Mahomes out, Hardman's out, and Clay's at full strength. I'll let you go first, Mitch.
Okay. Yeah. Patrick Mahomes is in. Different ballgame. I'm taking Alexander landslide. I think Alexander kills him. Patrick Mahomes is out. I don't know.
Because Dak wasn't good last week either.
What's that?
Dak wasn't good last week either.
I think Dak's good anyway. I like Dak's good any week, to be honest.
Dak is a fraud.
I like Dak's good. I don't like Dak, to be honest with you. But I don't like Cooper Rush either, so whatever. Cowboys have a good defense, whatever. Doesn't matter.
Yeah.
Tough one. I'm gonna go with another upset. I'm gonna go with Alexander. ESPN has him losing, but I think if his team's healthy, it all comes down to who Tua throws the ball to. Is he gonna throw it to Waddle or is he gonna throw it to Hill? Because they both have one or the other. If Waddle gets the ball, Alexander's gonna win. I think Goff is gonna be playing from behind. He's gonna have to fucking sling the ball around. So
yeah.
I think I'll go with Alexander.
Pat, who are you taking?
I'm actually going to disagree with Gizmo here, and I'm going to go with Clay on this week. I think Jared Goff is not going. Detroit Lions had a really good first few games of the year. I think they are on the downtrend again. I think they're back to stinking, and because of that, he's starting Jared Goff, and we still have Dak Prescott. Not great, but I still think the Cowboys as a whole is better than the Lions. So I have Dak winning this matchup for the QB battle. Josh Jacobs is a beast. I think he can afford to gamble with Stevenson. Some weeks Stevenson has a lot of points. Some weeks he has almost no points. But I think it's a safe gamble for this week in this matchup. So I think Clay is going to win this. I think it's actually going to be closer than what ESPN is projecting, though. I think Clay is going to win this by just a couple of points.
Okay. Yeah, I'm with you. So if Pat was in, Pat Mahomes, that is, I think you take Alexander here.
Absolutely.
Interesting thing about Alexander's team is if you swap what he paid for Najee Harris and you say he paid that for Dameon Pierce, it would make total sense.
Yes.
But the weird thing is Najee Harris has just been atrocious this year. Total waste to $75 or whatever it was. Yeah, interesting that that's the way it plays out. But in this one, I think that I'm going to have to take Clay. He's at full health. With Goff, he's too mistake prone. All it takes is a few interceptions to really tank that quarterback score. So yeah, I don't think that anybody on Clay's team does anything special or huge. All of them have some fairly, mediocre matchups, but I think that I think Tyreek Hill tears up the Lions. So Clay. So 2 Clay, 1 Alexander. Yeah, this is definitely the perfect time for Clay to hit Alexander, though, for a battle of 5 and 2s.
Yep.
Gotta be nice when that happens, right? Right, Mitch?
Yeah, kind of like me against you last week. But
yeah,
hey,
must be nice.
I still scored over 140, so that's a good week. We take that.
Yeah. I think anytime you score over 130, you're most likely going to win the game.
That's a solid win. You can't call it a cheap win. We take that.
Nope. So, all right, boys. Any last comments? I think we really uncovered a lot of feelings today, Pat. It was good to air it out.
Pat, I got a question for you, Pat, to end the show. What playoff seed do you think you are at the end of this year, and what is your final record?
I think I think I'm going to probably finish the season either a 4th or 6th seed.
4th or 6th seed. Okay, so you don't win the division.
I legitimately don't think I can beat you or Colin for the top spot. But I do think that I will still have a good enough record to make the playoffs, whether that stands me. And yeah, all I want is to get into the playoffs. That's my goal. and to be over 5 wins.
I mean, I don't think that those are. I think those are pretty much mutually exclusive.
They are, yes.
So, yeah, I guess I got one more lightning round for us before we all cheers out of here. We're gonna go. Who's your Scrophie? Who's your winner this year? Pat, we'll start with you since you're on my top left.
Scrophie is going to Andy for sure. And I think the winner this year is going to be you, Colin.
You know, as much as I love that, I don't believe it until I see it. I've scored
You never do, and that's
years
okay.
to not win one. So, my projected winner has to be Creighton. Unfortunately,
You soft son of a bitch.
I'm not being soft, man.
You soft son of a bitch.
If I could pull off those trades with people, I want to know. I want Creighton to write a book, The Art of the Fantasy Football Trade, and I will buy that and I will read it.
Do you legitimately think that he will win the league this year, or are you saying that he's going to win the league this year because he makes these trades and can always pull something out of his butt?
That's
like, do you like looking at his roster
right now?
Yeah, assuming he makes no trade, assuming he makes no other trades the rest of the year with his roster, you literally think he is going to win the league.
I do.
Bananas. Bananas.
And I think the last place has got to be Andy. I agree with that one. Mitch, what do you think?
I think crazy that you think Creighton's team is bad. I think you're nuts.
I'm not.
Sometimes. Go ahead. No, go ahead, What you got?
I'm not saying his team is bad. I'm just saying everyone is overhyping his team.
Pat, I love you. I hope we do I think we should do a segment one of these times where we go to the draft value of every player on Creighton's team and see how much Pat would spend on Creighton's team. I think that'd be a great segment. But I'm going to give the Scrophie to Andy. I think that's 3-0 for Andy.
Consensus.
And yeah, I think it's consensus that Andy has the worst team, and poor Andy. And I think it's only because Zach made a trade to not get Scrophie. I think we were right what we talked about earlier. I think that's what it is. And then I'm gonna go for the repeat. I think it's my luck here. I won last year. I think I'm gonna defend the crown this year. Let's go 2 in a row. I think that'd be the first person to win 2 in a row. Is that true?
That would be true.
I think that'd be true. I'm going to give it to myself, but I think I played Creighton, and I think it's going to be a good matchup. Last year in the championship game, I beat him by like 80. It was like 170-something.
He forgot to show up.
Yeah, he didn't show up. And I'm just hoping that something like that happens again this year. It might not. He might put 200 on me, but I'll see him in the championship. It'll be great.
Yeah. Okay, I like it. So I got one more fun one, and I think this will be more fun than those even. I want you to give me a first one in, or a last one in, and a last one out. So give me your number 6 seed, or the guy who squeaks in last, and give me the first one or the top seed in the loser bracket. Go ahead, Pat.
God, this really depends on where I'm going to finish. If I'm going to assume that I'm the 4th seed, I think the first or the last one in is Pierce. First one out is Steve.
Okay. So you think Pierce is getting the last playoff seed, and Steve's the top loser bracket seed?
Yeah.
Okay.
If I am the last seed, I think then obviously I'm the last one in, and then Pierce is the first one out.
Okay. So this is dangerous because I play him this week.
Yep.
But I think that Brecken, as good as his team is, it's fantastic. I know I haven't ranked at 5 in power rankings. I think his team's good. I think that he just doesn't quite have enough time to recoup from the 2-5 start. So
Agreed.
I think he's probably going to be the first one out of the playoffs. And if we're being honest, I think that Josh Allen is going to turn it on here. And I think, well, let me take that back. I'm gonna do 180. I think that Pierce is going to be the last one in. So Pierce can be our 6th seed. I agree with that. But I think Brecken's the first one out. Just simply do the 2-5 start. Mitch,
agreed.
Okay, so I got.
He's gonna wreck everybody in the loser bracket. Don't get me wrong, wreck everybody. But...
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. I have myself, Colin, Creighton, top 3. Then I have Clay and Alexander in. So those are my 5 in. And then I have Brecken sneaking in at 6. I think he sneaks in. I really do. I think he sneaks in. And then whoever the 3 seed is, probably Alexander or Clay, maybe. I don't know. Alexander or Clay, that's a bad matchup. I feel bad for them. I think that's
Okay.
tough. And then first out, just missing. Man, if Pat was 5-2 this week, I'd say maybe Pat, but 4-3, I think he's gonna end up 8 or 9th. So I think I'll put Pierce just missing. I think he's like right there. I think he's right there. He'll be like 7-7 and miss out because Brecken's 8-6.
Yeah. Okay. So Brecken and Pierce and Steve are our bubble teams between the three of us. It's interesting. A little bit above the line, a little bit below. We'll see what happens. So, all right, guys, we've kept you long enough. I know it's a longer episode, but I think this was a really good episode for mid-season. Just kind of recap, look where we're at. So
Yeah,
if
I'd
you
say
guys
so.
have any- if you guys have any comments, text it, even if they're mean. It's okay. So, all right, guys, have a good night. Cheers. Has anybody checked the Husker volleyball score?
I
No.
just assume that we're always winning.
We played Wisconsin, who beat us in the national championship. So I'm going to go watch into that game.
Absolutely.
All right.
Absolutely.
Cheers, boys.
Go Big Red.
Cheers, everyone.
Big Red.
Sometimes you wanna go where everybody knows your name.